Honestly, it was the best night of my life. He still doesn't suspect a thing.
I never thought a single sentence could end a marriage. But sometimes that's all it takes. One sentence, spoken when you're not supposed to hear it, can shatter a world you thought was solid. It wasn't during a big fight. It wasn't a tearful confession. I overheard it by accident. It was spoken casually, almost like a punchline to a joke meant to impress her friends. That afternoon, I came home from work earlier than usual. It was a beautiful day, and I'd managed to clear my schedule. My wife, Sarah, thought I was still at the office, tied up in meetings until late. As I walked into the hallway, I kicked off my shoes, trying to be quiet so I could surprise her. I heard laughter coming from the living room. It sounded like she had a few of her friends over. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. But then I heard my name, followed by another wave of laughter. My hand froze on the doorknob. My chest tightened for a reason I couldn't yet name. Then she said it. Her voice was light, playful, almost proud. She was talking about another man. She was bragging about a night that clearly wasn't with me. The way she described it, with vivid, almost cinematic detail, was for shock value. She exaggerated for effect. And then she let out a laugh that cut deeper than any insult ever could. Her friends responded with shocked giggles and playful, teasing comments, egging her on, encouraging her to spill more details. I just stood there, frozen. My hand was still on the doorframe, my mind scrambling, refusing to process what my ears had just heard. A part of me, the part that still loved her, hoped I had misunderstood. Maybe it was just a tasteless joke, a story she'd made up. But the more she talked, the clearer it became. This wasn't her imagination. This wasn't an exaggeration of some harmless flirtation. This was betrayal, served up casually like afternoon gossip over a cup of coffee. I didn't storm into the room. I didn't scream or demand an explanation. I just quietly turned around, walked back out the front door, and got into my car. I started driving with no destination in mind. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, but not from anger. It was a profound, bone-deep sense of disbelief. I kept replaying her voice in my head, the excitement in it, the complete and utter lack of shame. How could the person I shared my life with be this person I was hearing now? That night, when she came home, she acted like nothing was wrong. She asked about my day, kissed me on the cheek, and started talking about dinner. I watched her, really watched her, looking for any sign, any flicker of the person I'd overheard. I saw nothing. I wondered how someone could lie so effortlessly, how they could compartmentalize their life so completely. I didn't say a word about what I'd heard. I knew I needed time, not to calm down, but to think clearly. An emotional confrontation would just lead to more lies and manipulation. I needed a plan. Over the next few days, I started paying attention. Really paying attention. The late nights she claimed were work events. The way she guarded her phone, angling it away from me whenever a notification popped up. The sudden changes in her routine that I had brushed off for months, telling myself I was being paranoid. The signs were all there, scattered like breadcrumbs leading to a truth I hadn't wanted to see. I had been willfully blind because I was scared of what I might find. Instead of confronting her with my feelings, I chose to act logically. I started gathering proof. I didn't hack her accounts or invade her privacy in illegal ways. I just observed the things that were in plain sight. Messages left open on the laptop. Timelines that didn't add up. Lies that started to unravel when I compared them to each other. Each new discovery felt like a fresh wound, but something else happened too. With every piece of irrefutable truth, I stopped blaming myself. I realized this wasn't about me not being enough. It was about her choices. When I finally confronted her, it wasn't with a raised voice or a torrent of accusations. I simply sat her down and told her what I heard that day, word for word. The color drained from her face. I watched the performance begin. First, she denied it completely. "You must have misheard," she said. Then she tried to minimize it, calling it a stupid joke that went too far. When that didn't work, she tried to blame it on everything and everyone else. Stress at her job, feeling lonely, even me for working too much. I listened quietly, without interrupting, until she had exhausted every excuse in her arsenal. When she finally finished, her voice hoarse, I told her the one truth she wasn't expecting. I told her I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. That simple statement shocked her more than shouting and yelling ever could. The realization that she couldn't manipulate my emotions anymore hit her hard. Then came the tears, the begging, the desperate promises to change. But trust isn't something that shatters with a loud crash. It breaks silently into a million tiny pieces. And once it's gone, no amount of apologies or promises can glue it back together in the same way. You can try, but you'll always see the cracks. I moved out within a week. My friends and family were confused. Some told me I was being too rash, that I should try to forgive her, to think of all the good memories we had. But memories don't outweigh self-respect. What good is a past built on a foundation that I now knew was hollow? I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to make her suffer, I just wanted peace. I wanted a life where I didn't have to second-guess the person sleeping next to me. Ironically, the man she'd bragged so proudly about disappeared from her life not long after I left. He wasn't interested in commitment, in a future. He was just a thrill, a story she couldn't laugh about anymore. She tried to reach out again months later, sending me a long message saying she finally understood what she had lost, and I believed her. But understanding what you've lost doesn't reverse the consequences of your actions. Today, my life is much quieter, it's simpler. I sleep better at night. I don't feel that constant, low-level anxiety of wondering and worrying. I don't question my own worth anymore. That one sentence I overheard didn't just end my marriage in a strange way, it saved me. It saved me from living a lie for the rest of my life. Sometimes the truth doesn't come to you in a neatly wrapped confession.